Good evening, and welcome to the regular board meeting today of the Cameron Park Community Services District. Today is Wednesday, January 15th, and we are calling this meeting to order at 6:33. And Ellie, would you like to lead us? Oh wait, roll call, please.
That's already the roll call. Director Easton?
Here.
Director Scope? Here. Director Morrison? Here. Director Carlson? Present. Director? Here. Good.
And Ellie, would you lead us in the pledge of allegiance, please?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And to inform our attendees here and everyone else, public testimony will be received on each agenda item as it is called. Principal party on each side of an issue is allocated 10 minutes to speak, and individual comments are limited to 3 minutes, except with the consent of the board. Individuals shall be allowed to speak on an item only once. Members of the audience are asked to volunteer the name before addressing the board, and the board reserves this right to waive said rules by majority vote. So, first item of business, the adoption of the agenda. Are there any comments?
Yes, could you move item 13 to item 12? With the approval of the equipment funds after the items moved to the consent agenda.
Do we have a motion for the board to move item 13 to the beginning of general business, is what you're suggesting?
I'll move to move 13 to item 11. To item 11.
Right, 13.
Item 13.
Substance.
After the consent agenda. Okay, is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay, we have a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, item 13 is moved before item 11?
Yes.
After 11. Okay, and so the agenda is now adopted. Today we have no recognitions and presentations, and so I'd also like you to know that today, this is your opportunity, moving on to open forum, so members of the public may speak on any item that is not already agendized, and that falls within the jurisdiction of this board of directors. So if anybody would like a opportunity to speak, we'd love to hear from you.
Barbara Rogers, Cameron Park. This is regarding something I picked off of next door regarding the Frisbee tournament on Sunday. And a gentleman made statements that there were people smoking marijuana out of the, I guess it's at the lake, I'm not quite sure where the course is, and drinking beer and somebody driving on the decomposed granite pathway. So, of course, most of the comments on next door, if you saw them, they were kind of joking, whatever. And then one person, Mr. Cockrell, by the way, had to jump in the middle of the fracas. I guess he's the new sheriff of Cameron Park. And kind of took the guy on in a really rude way and like, hey, you know, I spoke to the organizer and he said that didn't happen. And my thing is, I would like to see this looked into. I did send an email to Mike, did not know he was out of town. If something like that was happening, we need to nip it in the bud now, before we have any other issues out there. And I do have a question. Is alcohol allowed to be at our parks if it's not like a event or a wedding or whatnot? Is that allowed? I'm not clear of the rules. I'd like to know what the rules are. Does anybody have that answer for me?
Do we know that real quick off?
Yeah, people can picnic in Cameron Park and visit any of our park systems and take a beverage with them, take an alcoholic beverage with them, as long as it's in a can.
I would like to request, and I mean, it's only for your consideration, but we have a drug-free policy at our parks, correct? Which would, now we all know marijuana is table, so people are going to go, well, they're not going to do anything. Well, I don't care if the police are doing anything or not. I don't want to see pot smoking at any work. And I know in the city of Pottsville, alcohol is not allowed. I would like to see us have an alcohol, drug-free parks, unless it is an event of some sort. You know, I don't know how you guys can handle that, but I just say let's try to look at this objectively and not let one person run rampant and be insultive to the person that made this remark on next door, which he was insulted. I have been in contact with him. You know, he has a concern. I'm bringing the concern to the board, but I have a concern. If there were things that were not done right out there that Sunday, we need to make sure in the future if you're going to allow tournaments and whatever, that the rules be followed, because they threw a lot of it at the CST too. Makes the CST look bad. I don't know if you read, if any of you read it, but and I'm not blaming the CST for this, because this is our first thing with these people, okay? So.
Thank you very much.
Yes, I have some issues tonight, but I'd like to read. This is from Merriam-Webster's online dictionary, maintain or maintenance. To keep in the existing state as a repair, efficiency, or validity, preserve from failure or decline, maintain machinery, parking lots, roads. I'd like to read you from section 66477 of the California Government Code. This is section 1, subsection 8.
Gerald, is this regarding open forum or?
This is open forum. Please don't interrupt me.
Okay.
You're keeping my time. Thank you. The legislative body of the city or county may by ordinance require the dedication of land or impose a requirement of payment and fees in lieu thereof or a combination of both for parks and recreation purposes. 6A. The city, county, or other local agency, public agency to which the funds or fees are conveyed or paid shall develop a schedule specifying how, when, and where it will use the land or fees, or both. This is state law. To develop parks and recreation facilities to serve the residents of the subdivision. State law. 9B. Land or fees required under the section shall be conveyed or paid in reference to the local public agency which provides parks and recreation services on a community-wide level and to the area within which the proposed development will be located. If the agency elects to accept land or fees, the local agency accepting the land or funds shall develop the land or use the funds in the manner provided in this section. The only relevant section is section F, 9F. Parks and recreation purposes shall include land and facilities for the activity of a recreational community garden, which activity consists of the cultivation by persons other than or in addition to the owner of the land, plant materials not for sale. This is government law. Okay? I'd like someone to tell me where our regional community garden is. I don't even got one, but we have to have one. And I didn't open this can of worms up. This is opened up by staff. But you want to know? That's the law. This isn't what Gerald's saying. This is what the state of California says. You are bound by this. Fault this, and you can wind up a lot of hot water. You can wind up answering to the grand jury on multiple occasions. So you better pay attention to this. Because this isn't what I'm saying. This is what the law is. And you are bound by this. And we will talk more about this when we get to item 13.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other further comments from the public?
Are we talking subdivisions or districts?
What he quoted was subdivision, was the change of subdivision. Okay, moving on, seeing no other further comments from the public, moving on to the consent agenda. Do we have a motion?
Yeah, I want to pull some items. Move to approve the consent agenda, pulling the general manager's report, the facility use fees, and the fiscal year 2019-22 quarter budget to actual.
Okay, we have a motion to approve the consent agenda, pulling items 6, 8, and 9. Do we have a second? I will second that. All in favor? Aye. Eric? Your vote?
Oh, you said all in favor.
Oh. I'm sorry, I did not hear it.
You said all in favor.
Favor? All in favor?
Aye.
I'm not responding.
Okay, no vote.
Correct? No, not, no.
No, abstain.
No, it's simply that I'm not in favor.
Oh, I'm sorry, I
All in
was.
favor, I responded.
Got it. Okay, so all in favor? Aye. I have 1, 2, Felicity and Ellie. Okay, so I have two ayes and 3 noes. Everyone else is no? No abstain. Okay. At this point in time, I don't believe we have, our instructions here on our agenda says that a board member or a member of the audience can pull an item and place it under business 11. So I don't know, why don't you share with us why you voted no?
I can share, because I've already, for myself, I've already read and reviewed all those items, and they've been available on the website for the public to review as well. In the interest of timeliness, but still transparency, I voted no. Okay? Request is to discuss, not to read them. Hopefully, it's better.
Eric? And you voted no?
Similar reason, I might be open for them if there's a particular, I don't feel the need to go to the amended board committee calendar.
I didn't ask for that.
That was it.
6, 8, 9,
Yeah,
so
apologize, I missed-
general managers report,
Facilities.
facility duties,
I'm sorry, that's my mistake.
okay, and Ellie, did you want to make a comment at all?
Not really, I just.
Okay, and then
But-
you've got,
I'm sorry, interrupting you, but like you said, it does say that we can go ahead, so I think, we proceed.
okay, so should we just go ahead and proceed then, pull those items with the vote of 2 and 3?
I think probably it sounds to me, and I won't put words in your mouth, it sounds to me like people are going to approve the consent calendar, but not with the removal of 6, 8, and 9. If that's correct, given the way that our agenda is actually phrased, on this occasion, I think that we should probably proceed with the vote and assume that those items, sorry to say this, but are removed for discussion following the vote on the consent calendar. Perhaps be addressed differently at subsequent meetings, but I don't believe we will.
Okay, so we're going to move on to discuss the items 6, 8, and 9. We don't need another motion. Our consent agenda is approved
Well,
without those being removed.
just for clarity, I think that we probably, since it's very confusing at this point, I think that we should do the motion over. I believe, Director Morrison, your motion was to approve the consent calendar with the exception of including items 6, 8, and 9. And then have everyone vote on that. Or second, vote on
Never
it.
in the history of this board has this ever been questioned. It's just unbelievable behavior.
Okay, do we have a second for the motion to approve the consent agenda with items 6, 8, 9 removed?
I'll second that, just for the sake of moving this along. We need to clear this up so that it's easier next time.
Yes, yes. Okay, all in favor? Aye. Aye. Okay, and Felicity is a no.
I'm remaining with my.
Okay, so 4-0. Moving on, so the consent agenda has been approved,
Unbelievable.
and we're going on to items removed from the consent agenda, the 6, 8, 9. Holly, you pulled those, hear what you wanted to say.
Okay. There's some major issues that have not been discussed by the board, so I apologize that I'm making you like actually do something tonight. It's just unbelievable. And to have general counsel say that he's not happy to have to approve my request is unacceptable.
Item, first paragraph, Mr. Richmond, the Cameron Park Lake Dam Emergency Action Plan is being submitted to the State Department of Safety of Dams. So we discussed that in Parks and Rec in December. Has that been submitted?
We can remind.
Sorry. Has that been submitted or we
This
told?
was discussed in fire committee and at the board,
And it's fine.
fire committee, and it came to the board, and once the board approved it, we submitted it right after that, yes.
Okay, I mean, just that it's being submitted, I know we approved it, so I just wanted to confirm, because we were finished with that. Fantastic report, thank you. That was my question on that. And you said you met with Mark Rain. What is his position at the country club? He's the general manager?
Yes.
Oh, fantastic, okay, because we talked about that. I wanted just to have a brief couple of sentences. President Scobie is here, Mr. Grassley's not here, I just was having a Rotary meeting. Were they happy with the report? Were there questions, concerns? What did Rotary have to say?
We had a very nice meeting with the Rotary. I was going to mention this at matters to and from, but I'll be happy to do that now. Before the presentation, we highlighted the district we highlighted the district handout as to our budget tax allocation. We highlighted the various services that we as a CSD provide, and we had some questions and answers, and they seemed very engaged and grateful that meeting. So it was a good meeting.
Were there any concerns about budget?
It was very silent on the budget. Yeah, they just listened.
We didn't speak about that tonight, so something we could bring back to the board.
They did ask if the summer spectacular was continuing, and I said yes, as revenue neutral, and they applauded, well, they didn't physically applaud, but they thought that was a good idea.
Okay, good. And then, last item is, this doesn't seem like it's working. All right, it doesn't even, is that better?
Really, really close.
The last paragraph, recreation staff met with Sierra Sharks and Aquasol regarding the 2020 swim schedule. Ponderosa water polo team rented the pool during the holidays. And I just wanted to know, do we have a report on the cost versus the revenue on the water polo team? That's all included in the recreation budget.
There's line items for costs and expenses for the water polo team.
Not for the water polo team, but for the athletic swim.
Okay, this was a one-off.
We charged them the rental rates for the pool. They rented the pool, and we charged them those rental rates,
What rental rate?
the ones that are approved by the board.
Which ones are those?
The current,
Or the ones we negotiated with?
I'm not sure if they were in like 2019 or 2020, but whatever rental rate was appropriate for the time of their rental, we charged them the board approved rental rates.
All right, you now have an answer for me. Staff reached out to Camerado, did we get a response from them?
Yes, the principal emailed me back, thought it was a great idea, was going to share it with the staff, haven't heard back yet.
Okay, that's great. Okay, that's all on that. Item number 8, facility use fees. So I had a question. I see that you went out to quite a few, I'm not sure if you did this, you went out to quite a few of the regional facilities to check for comparative costs.
Actually, Susan, our receptionist, did that.
Did that?
But I don't see Shingle Springs Community Center. We did feel it was comparable due to the size.
I would have to disagree, knowing that over the years that I've been coming to these meetings, we've lost a tremendous amount of business to the Shingle Springs Community Center because they have a kitchen. So I would just like to recommend that they be included. It's a huge facility. It's a big room.
It has a kitchen and it has a tremendous amount of parking. And we've lost tremendous business to them over the years. It would be a good idea to include them. You will do so, Mr.
May I say?
Yeah, go ahead, Ellen.
I am an ambassador for Single Springs Cameron Park chain. They run as one, and they have not, they've lost their commitment.
We have our facility, because they love the Shingle Springs Community Center. It's a great facility. So they do get a lot of business.
Okay, I haven't seen that,
From
I'm one of the
small-
ambassadors.
From groups. I've been to a lot of events there that used to come here. So on page 2 of 3, third paragraph down, the district received $67,860 in fiscal year 18-19 field use revenues. A 10% increase will increase revenues by $6,786. I don't understand the next statement. There's not much capacity to increase use, and yet we know that El Dorado Hills has the closest, largest gym facility, and we're banking on our increase in our gymnasium rental fees to increase our revenue. So I don't understand the statement. Maybe you can help me understand it.
Our sports fields are programmed almost all the time. So while our gym has capacity for rentals, between all of our little leagues and some pastoral groups that continue to use the fields, those are pretty busy. So there's not, I don't want the board expecting that we're going to increase rentals because we're going to have capacity to increase use. There is not.
On our field. On our field. Okay, so I have some questions about the gym fees. So I'm talking about the pool, or I'm sorry, the lake, due to the significant changes implemented in 2019, staff is recommending no changes in 2020. That's just for the picnic area. Do we have any idea how much revenue is generated from people coming and using the picnic areas and also purchasing from the concessions?
No.
Great. So how are recommendations being made to diminish the concession use when actually there's been an increase according to one of the schematics? No answer?
I didn't know that I understood your question. Can you repeat it?
All right, I asked if we had any idea how much in revenue there was from people purchasing from the concession if they had rented the, any of the picnic sites. Was there any revenue?
We don't have that information because people who rent our facilities are sometimes registered that have a lake pass, and sometimes they don't have a lake pass, and so we can look at the estimated number of people that we're expecting. When somebody fills out a form to rent our picnic site, they tell us how many people they're expecting. So we could make some assumptions to say if they got the number of people that they were expecting, say 100 people, and if those people all paid, if they were all adults, if they were all residents, not necessarily, you could make some, you could quantify that in some manner, but you would have to be making some estimates at that point.
It's just being a businesswoman, having a business,
trying to make projections into income and expenditures for myself. You make estimates. You make a budget, you make estimates, but you've got to have some idea of what you did prior year. I guess I've just been stunned to see several comments throughout these reports about doing a better job of counting how many people are actually in attendance. And how are we supposed to make these decisions if we don't have the answers to some of these simple things? We're not going to have much of a concession. We're not going to have boats rented. We're not going to have the lagoon open. But we want to increase the fees to get in to the park. What's your comment, Ms. Wooten?
I don't understand why you feel all that now.
Why would that we're going to cancel those things?
Well, which one you?
So the topic, let
I'm
me
not
see if
going
I
to have
can,
a concession or the lagoon or which
let
one.
me see if I can provide some clarity to you. The topic at hand is the rental of our picnic area. And so we are recommending that the picnic rental rates remain the same as they were the summer prior. The summer prior, we didn't, in prior years, the staff included a certain number of entry tickets with the purchase of each picnic area. And it was very confusing. Well, the staff report is, and so I'm trying to align what the staff report is talking about and what your concerns are.
I'm not talking about that part of the staff report. I understand that we're not including parking tickets any longer, that people pay as they come in, they get to come in, and that makes it much easier, and that's all well and good. I'm trying to talk about revenue to the district that has always been a moneymaker, and the things that I'm seeing disappear that no longer provide income, and how we're expected to see these projections that you made some time ago as to the increased fees at the community center, the pool, the gym, and the lake. So I'm just, it seems they're disparate and logic. I don't understand it. I just don't understand why there aren't any other questions. Maybe you can help me understand attachment 8A. We're talking about 2020 sports field use fee schedule. When we ask for a dollar amount for reservation, do they get that money back?
Deposits are refunded, the fee is not.
Okay. So if we charge a non-resident $100 for field use deposit, but for one-time use, right? That's a one-time use?
Yes.
So what's the average number of uses on the monthly field use fee? That is only a $600 charge.
I don't have that information with me.
I understand discounts to nonprofits, but I'm just so surprised at the amount of the discounts. Can you help me understand how you got to those numbers?
Yeah, I kind of messed up on the chart, sorry about that. We provide all nonprofits in our community a 25% discount on our community center fees and also our sports fields, rentals, and gym meetings.
And what was messed up on?
It's off the line. It's off the line.
Layout, just off the layout.
Okay. Oh, I see, just the 25. I could see that.
Like, follow up on Holly's question, and I don't know if I heard it, I missed it. I think part of the question was, how do we arrive at 25%?
Historical?
through the district.
The district is always offered a 25% discount, and so we are just continuing that practice.
Do we have the comparisons to other districts for what they do for nonprofit?
I can certainly research that. Most districts have a nonprofit rate, 25%, I believe is consistent with all the other bills that I have.
And the non-resident, is that 25% increase?
Yes.
No.
$55.
It's $5 bucks.
I know I had some questions on the gym, and can you tell us what our current capacity is in the gym?
As far as how many people can be in there at once?
No, what the rental rate is. Is it used more in the winter? Is it basketball?
We get more rentals in the winter, but I think that we have pickleball and a lot of contract classes that use it in the summertime. I think that's really how it is. But yeah, we have rentals for rent.
So, is there much of a demand for our gym?
Oh, yeah, there's a lot of demand for it.
So, why are we charging $66 an hour, and El Dorado Hills charging $196?
So theirs is not available. They really don't want rentals in there. And so, and we could have elevated ours more, but I didn't want to drive away and risk losing revenues by increasing it too much too fast.
Moving it to 67 and 66, I think.
Hourly rate is at 66.
And the current,
That's the current rate, the proposed rate is 79.
yes, I knew I'd seen it there, it's 79. That's a little bit. How did we come up with that number?
I increased it by 20%.
Okay, that's right. Across the board, 20%.
For the gymnasium.
Okay. And then what else was it, number 9? I just don't understand how you can have questions on this document. Have we received our January payment from the county yet?
You have to be more specific. What payment from the county? Are you talking about tax properties?
Yes, ma'am.
We just, I believe that the wire is coming at the end of the week. Excuse me.
I know.
I just received confirmation from Mr. Toscano from the county that was forthcoming.
Yes, good. So the 15.5% is going to increase. Total revenues are 15.5%. Yes. Right, so that will increase. That'll be good to get that.
Are you on number 9 now?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, excuse me. Yes, we believe the property taxes will come in as budgeted.
And then I just had some questions on some of the line items. Under operating revenue, I just don't, I don't know how much it's working.
It helps not to angle it, and then if it's straight on, it usually helps a little bit.
The fire marshal plan review,
Yes, I spoke to Chief Gaines, and he explained to me that we are seeing a uptick in fire prevention, fees.
Revenue. We did increase.
The fees were also increased this
Yes,
year.
they were increased, so that's good to see. We're at 152.5%. Here we are, the Park Lake kiosk revenues. We're at 110% of estimated budget, so if it's that great, why would we consider reducing?
We're
Oh,
not,
that's kiosk, that's entry fees, right? Kiosk, entry fees. That was good to see. I'm sorry, camera park concessions, we're at 123%. Not much, and I think we can do better. Historically, we've done so much more income. We've gone into $20,000 and more. We're at 4,100. No, we're at 4,013. That's dismal. I was pleased to see the interest income. That was a good decision that you made with Umpqua. Isn't that? Yes. Good decision. Congratulations on that.
Thank you.
That's fantastic. And my concern comes in on expenditures under our salaries, part-time, and our overtime. We're over budget and we're at mid-year.
The part-time represents the seasonal employment. Again, we're relying on a budget that has to be readjusted. So,
and that's related to the operation of the lagoon, which you'll see in the mid-year budget adjustment.
yes,
We operated the lagoon with parks and staff in July and August.
it was mostly lifeguards, generally lifeguards.
Thank you.
The overtime is due to coverage for vacation and sick leave, and also workload issues.
Okay. And then, is that also applied to workers' comp and FICA?
Workers' comp
The
was
last two items.
Workers' comp there was a one-time charge due to a past liability claim. We were asked for an additional underwriter for that claim,
That employee or accident related?
accident related. And the FICA directly correlates to the use of the seasonal help.
Okay.
So as it increases or decreases, your FICA increases or decreases.
Okay, that's what I figured. Just a couple more here that I'm concerned about. Our insurance, is that because of the timing of the payments?
The insurance is a one-time payment.
Of one time. So that makes sense.
No.
Hey,
They were worried it didn't work.
What if we heard you? That was good.
Yeah.
Memberships and subscriptions.
Memberships and subscriptions appear to be fully paid,
Great.
so we're done.
Okay, great. And then rent and lease equipment, that's very concerning. Is that also summer spectacular? And
That is due to summer spectacular, also concession freezer rentals.
freezer?
Yes. Prior to this summer, it was my understanding that we used ice to preserve our frozen product at the concession stand. It was determined that that was not adequate freezing, adequate protection for the food.
Yes.
And so we had to rent a freezer.
Wow. Okay. I was concerned about the first item on page 3 of attachment 9A, the staff development.
Yes?
We have some
plans for the second half of the year for staff. That's important. And it's been so underutilized that our staff was lacking in outside training for so many years, so. Board training is also included on that, in that line of item, so.
Okay, good, that's good.
And then, my last concern is the, water utility, I'm sorry, gas, took my paper away. I don't see the water fees here. The water is the account above the gas and electric?
Yes.
So what's the difference in water irrigation and water is it the same? Yes. Okay. So gas and electricity, that's, we're all
That's
living
from
with that.
use, yes. It's not extraordinary use. There's nothing that's new or tapping in more than what we need to budget for those. The fees that we're going to see for utilities is going to be outside. We do our best. Thank you very much, Vicki. All right, thank you. Do we have a motion to approve item? Oh, I'm sorry, yes, please.
All I want to say to you guys is that I sense displeasure out of some people sitting up there when Director Morrison pulls things off the agenda, which really didn't sense the same. Okay? If you guys want to just sit and rubber stamp every single thing, then go ahead and do it. But it's not right. You're not doing your fiduciary responsibility, and you're not representing me as a taxpayer and a citizen properly. As trivial as it may be, I would rather see people ask questions at the board level about things like this and have it explained. This is why I do not like your committees, because you all think everybody knows what's going on. But you're not at each other's meetings, and there's no communication. So if you want to sit there and mute, it's not making any of you look good, and I mean this. And I'm trying to be kind to you about this. I've come here month after month after month, and I've been watching displeasure by staff and by board members towards Holly Morrison, and I'm tired of it. Holly is a very respected person in this community. She does not deserve to be treated the way or spoken to the way she is spoken to by certain people at this dais, as none of you deserve it either. And if it was you being, in my opinion, picked on, and I would say the same thing to you. Okay? You're not being kind to each other. Four of you are not doing what is right. You don't ask questions. You don't ask anything. Month after month after month. Eric, I sit there, I watch you. Monique, Felicity, Ellie. I watch you, you don't say nothing. Felicity, you're supposed to be an expert in finance, but you never ask a question. Eric, I have great hopes. I'm very disheartened by what I see at these meetings. It's like watching a gang of people that click against one person, and it needs to stop. And I hope you take what I say to your hearts, to be kind to each other, and to work as a team, because right now you're not working as a team.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm confused, and I hope maybe you can clarify this. Am I to believe that we're not taking ranking votes, we're not going to be running the concession stand at the lake for as many hours as we have in the past? Is that correct? That's what we anticipate, correct? Yes?
Oh, we are, Jill.
So we're still going through the process of planning for the summer. My initial assessment is that the revenue generated at the kiosks, or at the concession stand, did not fully recover the staff costs in 2020.
All right. I don't, I guess you're saying, we're stuck with, we're never going to generate another penny if we're maximum capacity. And if we were maximum capacity, that concession center would be doing gangbusters. I don't understand. I don't understand. I talk to people that are possible to me, and they come down here and they just go, we would die for your facilities. And they're not being used. I've been to meetings here where the people walk out and then nobody here is going to ghost down. And we're cutting back. Yeah, that's like going to Disneyland, they got lights shut down. You're not going to go back. You're going to want your money back. They're not going to play anymore. I don't understand how you expect to balance a budget or get even close to deficit neutral. If you're taking these offline, that should be promoted as anti-revenue beneficial. I mean, selling concessions, selling Cokes and ice creams and things like that makes you money. Getting the people in there to buy them is the challenge of the staff. And you four just sit there and approve it. And as Ms. Rogers said, you don't ask questions, you don't question anything, it's just, okay, you're not doing your jobs. You are not representing your constituents and the taxpayers of this community as you should. And oh, by the way, we have 4 minutes. Is 3 minutes enough? Carl, no, 4 minutes. Sorry, you didn't take a proper vote. You have to be ashamed of that.
Thank you. Anyone else like to comment on the items pulled from the consent agenda? Do we have a motion to approve items? Yes.
Okay, let's see if I can get the microphone right. Ooh, I got a good one. I would like to thank the Budget and Admin Committee for vetting these reports in public meetings and for public who attended those meetings. I would like to thank Nikki Admin for running a CD so I can listen to the meetings that I'm not able to attend due to the Brown Act. I'd like to thank the General Manager, Jill, for briefing me and meeting with me individually so that I have a chance to ask all my questions in detail and get the answers that I'm looking for. And I understand it's a little bit less theatrical that I don't ask all my questions here in front of the public, but I do ask all my questions, and I have ample opportunity to review and research this. So I just want to thank everybody else who's been involved, public, staff, and members of the board. Thank you.
Do we have a motion to, what is it? Do we have to wait for it? No, we have a form. Do we have a motion to approve items 6, 8, 9, both of the consent agenda? Do we have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor? Aye? Aye. Abstain? Or no? Aye. Okay, 4 ayes, and then Ellen's not here.
You asked for a no, and I said no.
Okay, so we have 3 ayes, 1 no, and 1 absent. All right, we have now moved item 13 up to the next item under our general business. And so I'll go ahead and have Vicki, because she's going to pick that off for us.
If you bring light. To begin, I would like, first, I'm presenting the fiscal year 1920 mid-year budget for the Quimby Fund, the use of the funding from this, in the district, Special Fund 3, for your approval. This mid-year budget request is for Rasmussen Park Lot asphalt repair and stripping project. It was submitted to the Budget and Admin Committee, and their recommendation was to support the item. I'd like to start with giving you a little bit of background about the Quimby Act. The Quimby Act, under California Government Code, Section 66477, allows for the assessment or dedication of land from developers that can only be used for the purpose of developing new or rehabilitating existing neighborhood, community park, or recreation facilities. This use of funds restrictions are cited throughout the code and are also have also been adopted by the district's resolution 2011-11. The assessment fees that we get from the Quimby Act are accounted for in the district special fund 3. The use of these funds are restricted per the Quimby Act and the District Board Resolution 2011-11. Giving you that background, now I'd like to have you look at the schedule so I can walk you through the financial logistics of this request. If you look at the first column, says final, and I'm going to have to look at my schedule. Final approved budget 1920. The beginning balance is $72,900. These funds were received in June of 19, June 20th to be precise. They were received from Lennar for Bellwood's final map plan. You go down in that same column and you look at the expenditures.
When were they received?
They were received June 20th, 19.
19.
Okay? If you go down that column and you look at the expenditures, there's $28,554 noted there. Those expenditures are for projects that were approved and identified as Quimby Act projects in the 1920 budget. You go over to the second column. This is the mid-year request. What we are requesting is an $800 appropriation for interest. The reason for this request is in past, in our past budget, there was no treatment of the interest in this fund. And I believe that we should recognize that interest that's going to come in this year. The second entry under the Parks and Facilities expenditures is for $45,000. That is to fund the Rasmussen asphalt repairs and restriping project. If you take what we have and you take into account our request, we are going to exhaust the fund balance in the Quimby Fund 3 Special Fund to $144. We do have pictures to show you the current condition of the Rasmussen parking lot and the asphalt repairs that need to be made. We have 3 bids. I just included the bid that I had in my possession to show you an example of what it would cost to do this project. And I think I'm through with my comments and ready for questions.
Any questions from the board? Okay. No questions from the board? All right, take it out to public.
The word rehabilitate. County or other local agencies to which land or fees are conveyed or paid shall develop a schedule specifying how, when, and where it will use the land or fees or both to develop park or recreation facilities to serve the residents of the subdivision. You're being asked to take money that was paid to provide parks and recreation facilities and use that money to shore holes in the Parks Department maintenance budget. If the developer had given us land, which is acceptable, how could the CSD use that to repay a parking lot? By the way, it's not a resolution, I have ordinance. That's what the state law calls for. It's not a resolution. Excuse me. Thank you. It is obvious the purpose of the Quincy Act is to build parks and recreation facilities and improve their use, not to do what can only be characterized and has been called routine maintenance and repairs. When they fix roads, they don't call it road repairs. They call it road repairs and road maintenance, not road rehabilitation. And I challenge any one of you to tell me that fixing potholes and repainting is rehabilitating, is improving a park. No, that's maintenance. And that should be coming out of the Parks Department maintenance funds. And this staff is using Quimby funds. People have paid those funds to have parks and recreation built in their subdivision. That's the law. And I've read it to you. You've heard it. You know. You're not ignorant of this. I'm on the record, and you've heard it. This is being taped and video. You dare to state this. And I'm telling you, those people have paid to have parks in their neighborhood. And this staff was using a slush fund to make up for holes in the maintenance budget. And that is wrong. Maybe illegal. But let the grand jury decide if you vote yes. And I'm telling you, I'm very sensitive to this. Where I live, there are no parks. And walk from my house to Gateway Park, which is closest, would be suicide. I can't walk my grandchildren to a park because I don't have one. And if I moved into a neighborhood and found out that the Quimby funds that I paid to build a park in my neighborhood were being used as a slush fund to shore up holes in a maintenance budget, you better be out of your screaming. You better be one of the grand jury. And all of you would be named in it that vote yes. This is ridiculous. This is absurd. One word, rehabilitation. Well, I've got the job. And that is not ambiguous. They want to repair, not enhance, not rehabilitate. They're not putting in new lawns. They're not putting in barbecue pits. They're not resurfacing a baseball park. They're taking money that's meant to develop a specific type of facility and use it to shore up a slush fund. Use it as a slush fund to shore up a bad maintenance budget. Shame on you if you approve this. And oh, by the way, don't be surprised if they're listening to the grand jury and in an election year if they're legislative editor. Don't be surprised. Don't be hurt. Don't be shocked.
Thank you, Lisa.
You're welcome.
I really don't know much about the Quimby funds. I think this is interpretation of what you can use that money for. And the one thing I do want to tell you is that when Gerald left help in 2011, the district...
There was a resolution on how it's supposed to be handled.
There was a resolution on how Quimby funds would be handled. Nobody at the district knew how to do it, and Gerald worked and authored that. That's how much this man knows about what he's talking about. Now, I don't. I've read the Quimby Act. I have to agree with Gerald that paving the parking lot is not, in my eyes, fits what's in the Act. But when I tell you that this man knows what he's talking about, he does know what he's talking about. Because up to 2011, this district did not know how to handle the expenditures of the Quimby fund. So, I just, want to share that with you. That's what happened, years ago. And I think you should probably look into it. It was chief last year. I believe Gerald was not involved in the approval of this budget and the use of the funds prior, right? Because he was ill, so he had no knowledge that prior funds were utilized for another project. Even though I think it was inferred to him by the general manager, in fact, that he had brought it up last year when in fact he did not bring it up last year because he was not even here physically. He has had a very rough year with his health. So I really hope you guys will listen to him. I know he's passionate, as I am passionate, but he does know what he's talking about, and if he's right, you are going to invite a grand jury investigation.
Thank you very much. Any further comments from the public regarding this item? Bringing it back to the board, any comments from the board?
Yes, I actually don't think it's real pop. I sent an email
Yes,
to which I responded, and we had an interchange. Led me some good research, and I appreciate you spurring that on. Took me to the 2011 resolution, which kind of adds some of this. The initial statement becomes, resolution declaring the Quimby Act fees must be used only for the purpose of developing new or rehabilitating existing neighborhood or community park or recreation facilities. And he's right, part of this hinges on that whole rehabilitating understanding. So, rehabilitation definition, the act of restoring something that has been damaged to its former condition. Which I drove over to Rasmussen today because I just wanted to see the person, not just pictures. So I looked at the parking lot to see that some of it has now gone down to the dirt. There are sections that it's not just a repair. You can't just slurry it or fill cracks. It has to be taken out and restored to former condition for it to be good. Otherwise, it's going to continue to deteriorate and be worse. So that was why I didn't have a problem with the rehabilitation definition, because looking at it, it's just a few cracks. Yeah, you can repair it. But in this case, I don't have a problem with the definition on rehabilitation for that. The other thing that was a question for me had to do with appropriation. And early language of the Quimby had to do with it being applied to a particular subdivision from which it was taken. However, in 2013, Governor Brown signed Assembly Bill 1359 that allows cities and counties to use developer-paid Quimby Act fees to provide parks and neighborhoods and other things with that in subdivisions beside the one from which it was taken. So there, from my reading and research, there is legal ground to appropriate Quimby funds outside of a particular subdivision as long as it's used for the general community good. This was done in Los Angeles County a number of times to appropriate Quimby funds in places that were really needed for it because they had less than what they needed. And so that's what I had to bring to the conversation on this. The research I was able to do with the people I talked to on this. I can understand both sides. I can understand that some might say it's repair, some might say it's rehabilitation. I don't see a problem defining it as rehabilitation. It is my understanding that there's not a park plan for subdivision where it is from, so we're not removing anything from that, and there's no planned park in that. These funds have a lifetime before they let their use return. I don't know that there's a mechanism. 5 years. So I don't know the mechanism. I know that there are some issues in Eldorado Hills where there's some dispute about developers' fees that have not been used and people want those returned. I don't want to see our district lose funds that could help us by not acting when we could. So that's my simple input. Again, I don't claim to be an expert. Appreciate Bill O'Rourke's expertise in that. That's what I have to bring to the conversation.
Thank you. Other comments from the board?
No, I have a lot of experience in Quimby as the president of the Eldorado Dog Owners Guild and coming to the board of directors for many years asking for Quimby funds to build a dog park at what is now Paul J. Ryan Memorial Park. Parking lot needed to be repaired, and we were absolutely restricted. I would caution this board on approving this item. We were absolutely restricted from doing any kind of repairs or maintenance on the parking lot. We knew we were going to be busy, and we knew it needed to be safe, but we couldn't use the money for that. The money, Quimby funds, are to be used for the development or rehabilitation of a park within the district boundaries. Not to repair the parking lot, unfortunately, and some of the other things that may have been approved by previous boards, but trust me, I spent a lot of time, researching this, and I'd like to know what Mr. Harn had to say about using the money for this.
We were unable to connect with him, but I do know that when we did the rehabilitation projects prior to this, that the reimbursement came from the county.
They were not questioned.
Historically, funds are not to be used to repair parking lots. But Quimby funds are very specific. Mr. Wilcox is absolutely correct. Mr. Wilcox called our group and the board at the time and directed them to the appropriate use of these very special developer funds. So I would caution the board in using them for this particular project. It needs to be done, trust me. And I would be cautious.
Thank you. Vicki, did you want to add something?
I just wanted to make it clear that our request last year for the re-roofing of several of our recreation facilities has been sent to the county, and it has been paid by the county with no question.
Thank you. Any other further comments from the board?
Just a question for Rick Morrison. I appreciate your input on that. How would you differentiate rehabilitation in a parking lot versus rehabilitation in something else within the park? How would you differentiate that? And that's what it sounds like you're saying. If there was something within the park, you wouldn't have a problem with it, but within the parking lot?
The park. And we also needed to provide maintenance to the parking lot, which we were not allowed to do. So districts out of their park fund maintain parking. And Quimby funds and the funds that our group raised went to development of the park.
And remind me here, just something.
Dedication was 2016, I believe.
Yes.
But we started long before that. And again, with Mr. Wilcox's guidance, Rich Green's guidance, Alan Clark's guidance, Sheila Brenson's guidance, Neibauer's guidance, and Sean, I think, Sean Tucker, before his time. We have very strict guidelines on what we can do and not do.
Okay.
Would you feel more comfortable with word from Mr. Hunt in response to this? I know General Manager Rick's like that, I'll hear from him. Or word from the county, who obviously should be overseeing this, and either...
I'm surprised they weren't questioning knowing how controversial this would be. It's a tremendous amount of money.
Well, my question is, would you, hearing from him, would
I don't
that...
know, I just wondered if you've been asked.
We didn't, because we had had a conversation last year to make sure that we were consistent with the Quimby and these rehabilitation projects that we were identifying, and so we reached agreement last year on the rehabilitation projects we did, and we are following in that same manner. So we weren't able to connect with them this specific, but we feel that this is consistent with how we went through this process last year.
So, and I'm telling you, historically, it was not allowed to repair.
What was repaired, what was rehabilitated last year?
I have a, I'm sorry, Ellen, did you want to speak?
This doesn't work, but I have a lot of books. On page 1, the introduction, it addresses the Quimby Act. Can only be used for the purpose of developing new or rehabilitating existing neighborhood or community park and recreation facilities. And that's a government code. What does this mean? It doesn't mean to rehabilitate. I mean, do you call DOT, the Department of Transportation, to come out? You'd be waiting till,
Well,
never mind.
I have a question for staff. So if we submit this to the county, they could deny it as not appropriate? If it's not appropriate.
They can, if it's not appropriate, but I don't know on what basis they would reject it, because they just made the payment last year.
Was it for parking lot repair?
Is there any,
It's not two different.
I worked in it. Rehabilitation is if we've got a play structure and it needs to have the slide replaced.
That's not all of them.
That's rehabilitating.
Not all of them.
That's not
No.
the BOD, that we're.
Well,
So if, is there a penalty or a fine if we get denied? No, there's no penalty. Or there's no fine. So what would happen is if some powers that be decided that either now or sometime in the past, the district had misappropriated cookie funds, we would simply have to return those funds. I mean, and then we would pay for it out of the general fund. I mean, our, Vicki and I, professional opinion, based on what I know now, but my 30-plus year career in parks and spending this money, is that we are consistent with state law. We are following what the resolution is, and our recommendation to the board is to use Quimby money to repair Rasmussen Park instead of using your general fund and property tax. This is a revenue source that is given to you for especially these kinds of projects, and you should use it. If you choose not to, it's fine, but the parking lot has to be repaired at some point, and there's not a lot of property taxes to go around in this kind of stuff. And it's not grant eligible. There is really no grant for this, so this is a great use for this money. This is for rehabilitation project.
I also think that this would be a good project for the existing Quimby fund. Do we have a motion from the board?
Yes, I move to approve the staff recommendation.
I'll second that.
Ellen, second. So we go ahead and do a poll vote.
That's probably about it, yes.
Director Asa?
Aye.
Director Stobie?
Aye. Director Morrison? Director Carlson? Director Wood?
Aye.
Okay, motion passes 4-1.
Can I ask a question, please? What was the project last year?
New roof on the bathroom.
It was facilities, not parking lots. Okay. Thank you.
All right, moving on to our next item, number 12. Approve fiscal year 2019-20 mid-year general fund budget adjustment. Back to you, Vicki.
Yep, this one's mine as well.
And we've got a little PowerPoint, so if you to follow, guide everybody through this.
What I'd like to do is make a few introductory remarks, and then we'll go to the PowerPoint. I'd like to provide us an introduction and a few highlights to the request for the mid-year budget adjustment to the general fund. First, I would like to point out that the Budget and Admin Committee again reviewed changes with staff. Am I doing okay on sound?
Yes.
Received and supported moving this item to the Board of Supervisors, the Board of Directors, excuse me. The staff also presented an annual conceptual recreation department budget and program service levels to the Parks and Recreation Committee. There was mixed acceptance at the Parks and Rec Committee. I would also like to note that the staff's objective in developing this budget and future year budget was to provide for a recreation department that relies on program revenues, donations, and sponsorships. Under this budget, most programs are fully or mostly self-sustaining with fees. There are 3 program areas that do not generate revenues to offset costs. That's senior programs, special events, and outreach activities. I also would like to point out that this mid-year includes an adjustment for elevating the recreation supervisor's salary to the same scale as the CC&R officer. That is based on the position directly reporting to the GM. That position works independently and has a high level of responsibility and number of employees. Now, PowerPoint. Okay, first slide. Okay, the additional revenues that are contained in this mid-year budget request is additional property taxes of $50,000. That is based on the actuals from 1819. And we believe that we have the capacity for that level of property taxes. Interest earnings. This interest earnings is based on the money market account actuals, and we also believe that to be sustainable. Recreation revenues of $11,609. So we're asking for an increase in revenues of $111,609. I want to also point out that the recreation revenues are based on past actuals and current projects, and although they may be ambitious, staff again believes they're achievable. Additional expenditures. This request asks for additional expenditure appropriation of the amount of $69,700. Now, the rec department operated for the first half of the year under past practices, under the practices that were budgeted in the 1920 budget. So that included lagoon operations and I'm losing it, but there was a couple other operations that were very specific. So the request for the increase in appropriation for January through June is under the new methodology and practices, and it sustains the recreation budget from the first half of the year to the end of the fiscal year under the new programs. And other past practices and operations that the Recreation Department functioned through in July through December was the fall rec guide. So there were some issues. Total adjustments. What we are asking for is $111,609 in revenues, an additional expenditure of $69,700 in expenditures, will give us a net adjustment to the general fund of $41,909, positive adjustment. The new ending fund balance will be $3,280,259, which adjusts our budget deficit down by $182,491. This amounts to a decrease of 3% of the total budget.
So our new deficit went from 224 to 182. So our deficit shrank. And in big picture world, it's about 3% of our total appropriation. So, we're doing good, can't take care of it overnight, but it is getting better.
I also would like to note that the majority of the deficit is contained in the capital improvements, and it's not contained in operations. And now I would like to ask Whitney to come and talk about the programs, the new look at the programs, and the new look at the department.
So, since being here for about 4 months now, I've had the opportunity to just kind of assess and read previous assessments of how the department has been evaluated previously, and we really are trying to focus on moving into 2020 with the goal of becoming this catalyst in our community to create a sense of community, and trying to make sure that our beautiful community center is being utilized as maximum, kind of maximizing the usage of the facility, as well as kind of creating this hub for community engagement. and trying to be mindful of the fact that you can create community through people, parks, and programs, and making sure that we're providing things that people want to come to do, and making sure that we are kind of reconnecting with some people, re-engaging with people that maybe have attempted to take classes here before, but they've been canceled, and just basically trying to let people know that we're trying to make some operational changes. Some of the ways that we're doing that is to get feedback, find out from our residents what they want. Who are they first? We have in the newest activity guide, the winter spring activity guide, we have a survey in there that people can take online. We have paper copies as well. And we are going to be doing what we can to activate that survey and not just putting it in an activity guide and crossing our fingers that people take it. We want to find out who the residents are. We want to find out what they want, what they've already done, any feedback they have. Do they want to see more events? Do they want to see more classes? Do they want to see certain specific types of classes? Leading it so that it's not going to take them 10 minutes to fill out surveys, hopefully just a couple, to give us, to help us create a roadmap of where to go and make sure that the things we have in our activity guide are things that people want to do and things that will become well attended. After we collect that feedback, like I said, it will kind of create a roadmap for us to move forward with, hopefully, the summer activity guide encompassing those things that people are asking us for, and just truly trying to emphasize the quality of our youth programming and not focusing on the quantity, making sure that the things that we're offering in our guide are things that people want to do, like I said. In the fall activity guide, 37% of the classes that were offered were canceled due to no or low enrollment. So what can we do as a department to figure out if people just don't know, if people forget, and whatever the problem is, or does it truly matter if we don't want to take that class is not popular, there's not an interest for that kind of thing. So using our resources and focusing them on creating things that are going to be successful, and also instead of trying to compete with surrounding agencies, trying to find our niche and trying to find and offer things that aren't being done up the hill and down the hill that people might enjoy. So we tried that with our Sandy Swim in December, and we are going to try, we secured funding from Marshall Medical to do an aqua body strong class, which some of you guys have heard about in committee meetings, but basically it's a new class we're really excited for that will be happening this summer in the pool that people can try out, and it's something that's not a wholly set or place. So that's exciting. And just kind of doing what we can to identify and foster partnerships and opportunities within the community, and making sure that we're utilizing people to, how can we help each other? What ways can our partners, in a true partnership, how can they help us, how can we help them? If we have, for instance, one of the first things that we kind of looked at was literally came to us and said, why are you guys offering T-ball? We want to do T-ball. Like, we want to be the ones who do that, and your program doesn't have a ton of participants. So it was pretty simple to say, okay, why don't you guys offer T-ball? And we took that out of our offering. Because we're not taking it away from residents, we're providing them, we're pointing them towards T-ball. Things like that to just kind of look to become more efficient with what we're doing with the limited resources that we have. So that's kind of the gist of how we're trying to move forward. Yeah.
I have one question. We know we come up and play bingo on a Tuesday. And I go to Gilmore Center, almost every Thursday. They sit down, they have their luncheon. Right after their luncheon, they go to the next room, and they play bingo. And it attracts a larger crowd, if you will. Now, Monday wouldn't help here, because Gilmore Center still has their bunch. I'm not sure about Wednesday. Friday, I don't know if any of them playing, but if they come for lunch, 9 times out of 10, they're more than happy to go right to bingo.
So look at maybe the day that we offer bingo. Instead of offering out on Tuesdays, we can it to Friday.
Or Wednesdays.
Well, Wednesday's pretty packed with different groups doing different things. Yeah, not here, but
I think it will be I think that's a great idea to maybe the next time, I know we just had it this week, but maybe next month, I don't know the date on the top of my head, hop in with the people that are attending Greenville and kind of get a feel for how they would feel about, we don't want to lose people that are currently coming. It sounds like from Janice, you guys had a really good turnout this week. You were here on Tuesday for this bingo?
Oh, yes.
So I would hate to lose the day and lose the people that make the trip up just for their Tuesday, for second Tuesday of the month bingo. But talking to them and seeing what they would think about Friday, I think that's easy to do. I'm happy to do that.
Folks, we need to bring this back to our agenda item, which is our mid-year general fund budget adjustment. So, any questions from the board and the staff regarding our mid-year general fund budget adjustment?
Good work. Good work, and I know it's slightly going sideways, but when I hear something like, we analyzed the programs and 37% working, you're like, oh, I love hearing this analysis. Thank you. It's data like that helps us make better decisions.
No comments from the board?
Anybody else want to go? I don't know who writes it. Jill, do you write most of this? Who wrote this?
Vicki and I wrote it.
It doesn't say anything. There's no detail.
There was a lot of detail at the Parks and Rec Committee and the Budget Management Committee,
And
and
I
it was
heard that
asked to give it a good haircut, and so I
And
did
this
so.
is a board meeting where this kind of information needs to come forward. And if you've got other paperwork that you had in the committee, then bring it forward. But there's no numbers here. You've got this whole page on mid-year budget adjustment. You only have to go search for it. I'm just saying it would be helpful. So I have a couple of questions. I would invite the board members to go look at previous year's budget and our diminishing fund balance. We were at $5 million not too long ago. We were at $3,280,000.
How long ago?
Not that long ago.
Was that in a year?
2 years.
A few years.
2 years. That's all the money that we have. I have a question on the attachment 12B, the proposed programmatic district budget.
Yes?
Under expenditures for fire, does that include JPA?
Yes.
Yes, that's
Why?
why.
It does.
Yeah, why aren't those separated out? JPA is money that comes to us from a whole separate account. Why is it included in the?
The revenues are included above as revenues, and the JPA and the fire contract are thought to be jointed.
We've asked for them to be separated multiple times.
Yes, we have, and what I'm presenting to you is the 1920 budget as it was approved. In future budgets, we will have different methodologies for reporting the JPA and the fire. We have discussed with fire about their year-end position and how better to describe that for the board and for the community.
You've got it separated on revenues.
Yes, ma'am.
So why would you not separate it on expenditures? It is misleading to anybody except those of us who come to these meetings to understand that the fire bill is not $4,048,800.
If I can ask, Vicki, are you simply saying that keeping this consistent with how the budget was structured and approved for 1920, and then in 2021, when we recreate those lines, that we can separate that out?
Yes, I'm saying that we are looking at methodologies for how to best present that in the budget next year. We're also looking at, now have a template that we have discussed and agreed upon with fire and have discussed with the Budget and Admin Committee, how best to report the year-end results of the fire contract and the JPA activities. I can tell you that this method of reporting in the budget has been this way for many years.
Couple of years.
Many years. It's this way.
We've asked for it to be changed, and it's still the same. It's misleading and deceptive.
This is the first.
It's deceptive. Attachment 12C, I'd like to understand the second bullet, leverage partnerships, recognizing that the success of swim teams in youth sports leagues is the district's success as well in terms of increasing rental revenues at a low cost. What does that mean?
In other words, if you have more people playing soccer, therefore you have more teams, therefore they need more time on your field, therefore there's more rental revenue.
So why would we offer it at low cost? It goes back to my concern about how you figured out the rate increase for the swim teams, which we still don't have. I have yet to see that reconciliation, where you actually factored in the cost of the water, which is going up 30%. Leverage partnerships, recognizing that the success, offering them lower prices to
No, I think
facilities.
I interpret that to mean it's a low cost to the district. We are increasing our rental revenues at a low cost to us because we are partnering with our sports field users.
But we're not charging them an appropriate increase to cover the cost of our expenditures.
But I don't believe that's what this board is going to.
But I'm making that statement.
I understand that, but I think it sounds like you're trying to understand what the purpose of this bullet is.
As well
It's to recognize
as well
the
in
success
terms
of
of
these
increasing rental revenues at a low cost.
at a low cost to the district, because if we take existing programs, elevate them and expand them, there's minimized extra cost to us, but realized extra revenue. I think that's all it's saying.
Except that we're not charging appropriately to cover the expenditures. I don't care how much it brings in other.
It's cheaper to rent a field than it is to offer flag football on. That's the bottom line.
Is it offer what?
Flag football. So if we district have employees and umpires, referees, and uniforms and all of these things on our sports field, that actually nets us less revenue and actually costs us money. If our soccer and rugby and all of those sports groups are expanding and growing and renting our fields more, that's where our money is.
That's fine, but we're not covering our expenditures to the relative increase in the use for the wear and tear on the field, or the use of the water, or the use of the field, of the pool.
But I would suggest that we are, because we're getting increased revenue to cover those costs. I understand your question about how the fees are structured. You're speaking particularly about swim fees. I think what
I'm thinking about a lot of it in the comparison of the rental in the gym to the other communities. So I'm talking about a couple of things.
Okay, well, I'm also going to say based on last year's actuals and figures, we came out much better than we anticipated. And if we see increased use and revenue this year, I can only expect that will increase as well. We'll find ourselves in a better position. So
Well, that's what the general manager's job is.
I know, and what I'm saying is that's what she's doing. So,
Not with the increases in the fees that we've seen. We still have yet to see
Director Morrison,
that
I
analysis.
think you made your point. I think we need to move on.
I'll move on. I choose to move on, Rick. I still have questions about something.
No, I'm not saying you shouldn't ask a question, but I'm just saying that I'd like to hear yours.
No, we'll just stop there and you guys continue with the meeting. I listened to the tapes, Ms. Carlson, God help us if we go any further in your endeavor. I listened to the tapes.
Director Morrison.
I speak to the general manager and I get the same kind of comments, nothing. No answers, I don't have the answer, I don't have the numbers. You calm down.
All right, so
Stop talking about me when I...
Director Morrison is leaving at 8:10. We are still on item 12. Any other comments from the board regarding our general fund budget adjustment, New Year's budget adjustment? Do we have a motion?
I move to approve the budget adjustments as recommended by staff.
Is there a second?
I will second that.
All in favor? Aye. That's four, and one absent. I'll let the board know that we appreciate your support and your patience as we work through these issues. The recreation budget request, as Vicki knows, I really struggled with that. But when I considered that we were operating under the old guide for 6 months out of the year, I think I felt better coming forward with this and knowing that we continue to analyze and try to do better. And so we just appreciate your patience as we work through this and try to make it better. Very dynamic, very efficient. Quality within the program. Thank you. Okay, moving on to item number 14, changes to policy 4060, committees of the Board of Directors. Jill? Can I have you take this thing? Policy 4060, committees of the Board of Directors. In the past agencies that I worked on, there were some best practices put together by several other agencies. Some were in policy, some were not, about, kind of the philosophy of assigning board members to committees. And so when I started as the general manager, there was a conversation with that first president. I think that there was some frustration about how there was really no rhyme or reason for past selections, and I think that there was a fairness issue that was talked about. So I came up with this bulleted list, and then the second president I provided that to, and then to the current president. And so since it's been used, kind of tried and tested, we felt it was time to put it forward to all the board members to see if you would like to have this in policy. Any comments, any questions to staff? We need to take this out to the public. Seeing no one, back to the board, do we have a motion?
I move to approve, what it's called, the policy 4060, committees of the Board of Directors.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And that's four, and one absent. Moving on to our next item, 15, approved Cameron Park Lake Convenience Neighborhood Gate Fee and Process. Jill? We've got another onion in our garden, and it was called Neighborhood Convenience Gate around the lake. And so spent several weeks kind of pulling back the layers of the onion on this. You may or may not know, there are 25 neighborhood convenience gates around Cameron Park Lake. Most of them are associated with HOAs. Some are, private residences, and there is a gate out there in Fort. The district's current operations is inconsistent with the 1999 board directive, and in addition, staff has made a few recommendations to try to streamline this program. So the best way to do this is to go to attachment 15B. Okay, okay there, Ellie?
Go ahead. I'll be right back.
Okay. Ellie and I talked about this a little bit. Okay, first column is our 1999 board directive. We found this in past board resolutions and contracts that were created back then. There was a 15% administration fee. No, please note that the 15% administration fee is on the type of pass you bought. So if you bought family pass, digital pass, lake pass, all that, combo pass, it was 15% on top of that. So that is one. There was a one-time refundable gate fee outlined, and there was also, everyone was required to buy a lake pass, whether they used the lake or not. The responsibilities, the owners were to provide the gate installation, and then they were to donate the gate to the district. There was no outline of who's to maintain the gate, but my assumption is that if the district owned it, it was ours to maintain. The keys and the locks were the responsibility of the HOA or the residents. So current operations moved away from that. There was 15% admin fees were collected, about $600 and $800 in 2019. The one-time key deposit was sometimes collected, sometimes not. And there was a season pass. There's 118 individuals that we work with, residents of the air park. Some are people that have a green escape in their backyard or a small cluster or with an HOA. We're not exactly sure who those 118 are. I think Winnie said there was how many HOAs around the lake, probably?
There's quite a few. My unit is one of the largest with 11.
Yeah.
But there's some of them that only have 3.
Yeah. And so, I'm not sure who all these people are that we're communicating with, but, also, if there's property ownership changes in the air park, the new resident may not know that there is an opportunity to use that neighborhood community if they would contact the district. And so, we just really need to do a better job of understanding who knows about these communities. And then, the HOA presidents were to redistribute to through snail mail and then collected back, not just paper. And they were annual agreements. Wendy's familiar with these applications for pass and things like that. So it was very paper-driven, snail mail-driven process, and it was difficult because staff were then collecting these groups of people and then trying to enter them into our rec pack system. And so, anyways, moving forward, our recommendation is that we don't, that the responsibility of these convenience gates go back to the HOA, which is primarily consistent with 1999. But we would like them to own the gate as well. They are responsible for maintaining the gate, changing out the lock. The district will have a one-time agreement with the HOA. We can remind them of it every few years, but it doesn't need to be an annual one. We'll just do a one-time agreement, outline roles and responsibilities. We want the HOAs to encourage everyone in their HOA to buy a pass. Now, they're not required to buy a pass, but they can call up the district and they can buy a pass. And then we have them in our system as the pass holder. And there's not an application that needs to be filled out. We will not charge an administration fee because there's nothing for us to administer. We're just selling passes. And we'd like to do better outreach so that more people know if they have an opportunity to use a convenience gate, especially in Air Park. Right now, we will be charging an admin fee, some sort of administration fee to the Barron Court residents, but everybody else will. My overview.
I have a couple of questions.
Okay.
What happens if somebody outside the air park decides they want access?
They won't have.
They're going to have to prove residency?
Yeah, they'll have to.
Okay. And then the other comment I have is on task 15B, moving forward, the first row. It should say lake season pass required if they use the lake.
If they use the lake, yeah. Okay.
That's all I have. Anyone else? Any other comments from the board? Questions?
just, again, I appreciate the look, the sort of stepping back, taking a look at the big picture and recognizing where there's really some inefficiencies that are not helping the district also. Thank you for the leadership. And I also think by these changes don't reduce the level of service being provided by the public.
Well, actually, we'll deliver a better level of service, because I think right now it's a very gray area.
Yeah.
And then it may take us a while to get out there, and so it is, we really want their expectations.
And as John could explain, he said that it is the lakes and impacts is recommended, but not required.
It's required if you use the lake. Not everybody that lives in the HOA or maybe has a gate accesses the lake.
So Eric, I live on the lake, and in my, there's 11 of us. And there are several residents that are physically unable to use the lake. So they are required right now to buy a pass, but they never use the lake. They can't. So in this case, I found out about this,
Parks and
at
Rec.
Parks and Rec.
Right.
So,
Are the, forgive me, I know your job, are these residents that border the lake?
yeah, these are, those condos. I should have you in my house. Yeah, there's condos on the lake. If you walk down the lake and you look at people's little patios,
But yes.
yeah, those places. Look at mine, I've got the patio.
I guess my only question in that is, there's some expectation that people who purchase property homes around the lake are purchasing it because of its proximity to the lake. And I'm not sure why there wouldn't be some kind of revenue besides property tax, which everybody pays, to then help fund the district, which maintains the lake, which is one of the benefits to somebody who lives by the lake. Even if they never go into the lake, they can sit on the deck and look, and that doesn't happen without our district maintaining. So I don't know how to go around that, or if there's a counterbalance to that. But part of owning there is, and if there isn't a financial contribution toward that, I do not understand that. And Director Cross looks like you might have a comment.
Yeah, I have a comment. It's not a perfect parallel at all, as I think about it, but I live next to 20 vacant acres that the fire department about. Worried about it for a while. But anyway, I live next to 20 vacant acres, and they're absolutely stunning. I mean, they're just beautiful. And they will be developed one day, so it's not a park. But I don't have to pay for that 20 vacant acres. That's somebody else's land. And so it's not a perfect parallel. But I think I hear what you're saying. I just feel like it's venturing into a land of complexity. That I'm kind of appreciating that we're stepping back from the complexity of this proposal.
Well, no, I understand. Simplicity is better. I just wish that we could see something to gain some benefit. If some of these residents who own there are enjoying it, but not contributing toward the maintenance and use of it. Even if they don't live there, you can walk around it, you're still receiving some benefit. So if there were some simple fee that could then be used toward a pass. So, remind me to feed the pass fee.
So there's a couple of things, and we can certainly talk more about this, and I by far have background, but I'm not an expert to say. One, if you force someone to pay a fee, it becomes a tax as opposed to agency. So you can't force someone, and that's why we have user fees and service fees based on our actual costs to provide that service. And
And I recognize that.
yeah, right.
Pencil out for more of the time for the number of
Right.
I'm just
So
asking the question.
the role of, this is why community facilities districts and lighting landscape districts were created, is to, if there is a nexus between a piece of property in a landscape area, or a park, or something like this, and there is a group of residents that are receiving a higher benefit due to their proximity, then you can make that nexus, and you can create a facilities, community facilities district or lighting landscape district that then has them pay for that heightened benefit. So kind of a big picture capability of that. Those kinds of things, this is exactly what the board did for Bellwood. So there is a community facilities district that was our board created as a backup measure. But if that HOA goes away, we have funding not only to take care of the landscape areas, but also their open space. And I think there's going to be a trail in there. There'll probably be residents outside of the area using that, but primarily it's the residents within that area that are going to benefit.
So there are those mechanisms in program.
I don't see a problem letting everybody to the lake, because they just sit on the deck and look at it extra. I just don't know if we can do it now when everyone's already living there, because if we have to do some next study and put it out to a vote, then who's not going to vote no but me?
Well, and as Jules explained that, it's just deal with the impacts, but then we can fix a study that's a bigger piece that we can deal with in this, right?
But we can, like we have with the Summer Spectacular, we can say, this is a community asset, and whether you're there or not, you should support it and find a path, you know? And so you may have some folks that can't access it, but they think, yeah, I want to give and help the lake. Maybe they don't buy a pass, but they give it, you know, so.
You know, one thing I want to bring up, I mean, just because it's crossed my mind, you've got such a high percentage of senior citizens, and somewhere along the boulevard, live here, you should be able to have a free meeting, to tell you the truth. I don't care if it's just walking along the lake or what, but something, because if you charge for every single thing, that's pretty rough on them. It's not rough on them.
There's a lot of seniors who walk the lake, I mean, there are.
Well, I think we need to wait for Felicity to return before we make a vote. I was not going to vote, I was going to abstain from voting on this measure because I do live at the lake, and I would hate someone to perceive that I'm benefiting from my goodness, so I was not going to vote, so we need Felicity.
You want to take a short break, and then we can do the vote, and then do the strategic plan?
Okay, let's take a 5 minutes. 5 minutes? Yes, 5 minutes recess. And then we'll be back at 8:30.
So the gentleman that was back in the audience, Jan, came because of the village, Cameron Park.
Yes.
He said would try it. He was here a year ago. He was here a year ago, and he had some follow-up with the fire department.
Oh, okay.
It's about a year ago.
Oh, because mine is at 20 minutes. Last time.
Oh, that's
true.
Contact with.
I'm
For the bid.
You're telling me I heard a whole lot.
Oh, yeah.
Wait till you get it.
No.
Thanks for having us. Thank you for telling us where to go.
Well, I think you're here anyhow. And we got a little bit for Crab Beach. How are the rest of the donations?
Looking good, I'm supposed to meet tomorrow here in Nashville.
But that's right.
Tomorrow, and give you a little rundown of where we are.
we have a resident meeting tomorrow night as well, so they're hoping to kind of meet before and then kind of. Yeah. So a lot of them will just, make contact, and then, a lot of the businesses will later either say yay or nay, and just go on to kind of come back out. Seems like they're doing good.
Well, we're leaving some contact. So Mike will be back. I'll have it.
Yeah, it's coming along. So the logistics part of it's coming along, you guys are following what we're gonna have and all that.
You're gonna be standing up.
I'm fine with that, but,
Yeah, that'll be. The plan with that. Yeah. The 100. Talk about that program.
all right, guys, should we get started? Sure. Can we get going, guys? You ready? Claire's the big apple, right? Yeah. My kitty, I love my kitty. This is little bunny. You ready to go home?
We need you. Just,
You're welcome to stay if you would like.
all these.
All right. All right, you ready? Here we go. All right, we are back. And we are on agenda item 15, approved Cameron Park Lake Convenience Neighborhood agency and process. Do we have a motion?
I move to approve the staff recommendation.
A second?
I'll second.
All in favor? I abstain, so 3 ayes and 1 abstain, and 1 absent. Motion passes. Item 16, receive and file strategic plan status report. And I was just checking with my fellow board of directors. Everybody read through that. I don't know if we need to. I don't need to say anything. You guys are all. Does the board have any comments regarding that? Any discussion?
It's been vetted in committees, we should all read through that. Any other questions?
I just
Any
wanted
points you want to highlight?
There is an item I want to highlight, and I think this is extremely important, and that we really look forward to doing starting one next year and budgeting for it. So I just wanted to put that on the record.
And congratulations to the work that is doing. I mean, there was a lot of things checked off on this list, and that is really awesome. And there's only 5 things that we will continue to work on. I think all of those 5 things either have been initiated or will soon be initiated. So we're working on those.
So well done. So no further comments from the board? Okay, that was a receive and file. So moving on to board informational items. Number 17, general matters to and from. Who wants to start?
I can start. I've got 2 items. Last night at a public event, I ran into the general manager of Eldorado Health, and he was talking about the Bass Lake plan, and I don't remember the name of the committee, but there's some kind of a committee involved with Bass Lake plan, and that they're starting to want some input from the Cameron Park CSD.
Oh, okay.
They'll be reaching out to our general manager, start the process of finding, I don't know if that's staff or a committee member, but board member, but I think, I said that we are very interested in it. Good idea. And then, just back on that first, I would like to chair the Community Economic Development Advisory Committee, and I just say I nominated 3 other people to chair. And I ended up being chair of the Community Economic Development Advisory Committee, which is a county committee that is tasked with advising the Board of Supervisors, and in particular this year we're going to be talking about housing issues. But I just wanted to share that. I'm very proud of it, and there's important issues that we're going to talk about, and I feel like I'm pulling some of the weight that I should be pulling, but taking more of the leadership role. Congratulations. Thank you.
Congratulations, I want to make sure that does not interfere with your duties here.
Not at all. I take a Thursday, I do the Thursday afternoon once a month. And I'll be meeting with their staff in advance of that, and it doesn't interfere with this at all. I think it's complimentary, but it's not. That's it.
Ellie, any matters to and from? We're not doing committees at this point, just the general business?
No, I believe I was at the meeting last night. And talked with several people that I knew around, and it was interesting, and the speeches were very interesting. In fact, I brought her the newspaper today showing a few pictures of the opponents. But it was nice, it was a very nice group. And most of you know I haven't been going to many places the last week. So that's really all I really have to say. Oh, and I did stop at Station 89 and talked to several people and let them know that the Station 89 supported me through, or if they wanted me to do something.
Eric?
A couple of things to highlight. Some of it's just reiterating some of the conversation regarding Parks and Rec budget and admin. I was just really grateful for the work that he's done. Just culling and assessing and analyzing, and a very particular thing that I asked her for some particulars as we talked about raising the salary. She and I had talked a while back regarding a local basketball coaching program and some things that happened in the past that have made access to our facility challenging. My last conversation with her was sort of following up with that, sitting down with that person, having a great conversation, building some relationships, and will now build future possibilities with high school. And I'm just thrilled to see those kinds of things moving forward. So I just wanted to commend the staff on doing that. And thank you for that.
Okay, my turn. I have a bunch. The first thing is, I think as a board, we need to address our consent agenda, where we have on there the ability, any item may be removed by a board member or a member of the audience. So I think this should be taken to budget and admin or another, committee that, if there is a way. We've already looked at that, or Jason, can you help me out here?
Yes, it's been looked at. If you want to look at it again, it could certainly go to a committee. I'm not sure that the budget, is it budget and admin combined here?
Yeah.
Oh, that would probably be the appropriate one, then. I'll take that back. So, certainly if there's some particular issue, and I'm forgetting which directors are on that.
Eric and I.
Okay, great. Then it'd be very easy for you to communicate to that committee what issue you have with it. Usually
Well,
my recommendation.
It's just awkward having to vote on it when we really don't have any control, as a board. You can pull the items, there's no control at all. And I don't know if that's the way it is, and that's the way it's recommended. Anyway, send it to budget admin, please, and we'll have that discussion.
I was just going to say, I understand the issue you're raising. I this point would probably be discussing an agendized item.
Yes.
So. But you give me direction.
And let me just provide you input. When I put together an agenda, I do try to consider time and, you know, how long it takes folks to come through. And so there's generally I think through how much time a consent calendar will take and things like that. And so if the practices change, you know, at all, then for me, I'll just have to budget differently so that these meetings don't get too off the wall. And so that's part of the challenge with this.
Yeah, and it saddens me that there's a perception that we're not doing our homework because we're not asking questions. I actually see it as evidence of us doing our homework because we don't have questions, we understand the issues, and we only ask questions that are pertinent or that just came up at the time that we didn't have before. And it's unfortunate that it's perceived that way.
If I can make a suggestion that for us as a board, perhaps we reevaluate our approaches rather than having all our questions answered. Look for pertinent points that helped us make our judgment on particular issues and bring that into the board discussion. It doesn't have to be long and lofty if we say here are the things that I consider. And that can be short, but it brings, and I understand the concern that all these discussions happen in other places. It's not brought to the public here, but I also don't want to re-meet over the issue because we've been discussing committee on purpose. Right, so perhaps there is a middle ground in which simply board members can bring salient points, bullet points to say, as I look at this, here's what I consider.
And I'm sorry to interrupt. Again, I'm starting to get a little uncomfortable with the amount of discussion. I mean, that probably, if we want to agendize it for future discussion, that'd be fine. We're going to go to the budget management committee. But further discussion at this point, we're getting a little too close to that.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, so send it to budget management, we'll see what we can do, we'll come back with some recommendations to the board or not. Another item I had is, in your folder, in the beginning, in the front of your folder, there are some papers. There is the Rosenberg Rules of Order, and I was thinking that this would be a good thing to, what's it called again? Laminate? Laminate, and we can use this. So I like one side, it says, it gives you, it's called a cheat sheet, says whether you need a second, debatable, if you can interrupt the speaker, and so forth. And then the other one has a more general idea. So I thought if we actually laminated this and pulled it out and used it at a meeting to bring more order, more efficiency. Is everybody good with that? Okay, and then, of course, we'll see in there the meeting dates, which I thought was a great idea. However, the strategic plan, I don't think we need. This is the one that we just did the report card on, and that we'll be looking forward to doing another one. I mean, of course, we need it, but I don't think we need it in our binder. What do you guys think?
Yeah. I don't know, I mean, staff is meeting, continue to look again, do you have a lot of?
No, I think they read it.
I think it's useful. Comments.
All right.
I think it's helpful, and board members can be able to tell that if nothing else, to scan and keep these things in front of us. And
Okay.
I don't mind it.
Sounds good. We'll keep that. I do want to point out that there is that Parks and Rec survey. I encourage all my fellow board members, if you haven't filled it out yet, to please do so. And I wanted to let you know I was an Elvis impersonator. That was kind of mind-bending.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll leave it at that. And I did get a bunch of calls, not a bunch, I did get some complaints from the residents at the lake regarding the good call. But we have reached out to the organizers of, well, not we, Jill did, and had a discussion with them to help alleviate those issues. So I just wanted my board members to know that.
The course is not open yet, and so, and we'll do a ribbon cutting when it is. They were actually testing out the course.
Yeah.
Assuming you were aware of the next door conversation that Robin referred to.
Yes.
Okay, I didn't know if it was appropriate or how we report back to the board as a follow-up to the concerns that
I
were
can
brought.
just shoot it, I can send an email to Barbara if you like.
Well, I'm also thinking this for any of us, because I saw it too, and I've heard about it. I'd like to be able to address the concerns brought up, so that if somebody's from Boston, well, yes, they weren't, you hear all this. If we have information that as board members we can represent well, I appreciate it.
Okay, I'll send it, I'll just take the email that I sent to you.
Yeah,
And
why
I'll
can't
send
we
it out.
just post that on next door?
Uh,
Do we have a membership?
Well, I'd be hesitant about addressing those things in that venue. It
Why?
might, because it's a black hole.
Well, and what we talked about is the forces and so we didn't want to get a perception that it's us. And so that's why there was some conversation about it commenting on next door, and so I think you're right. Once we get it open, we'll see what we can.
Okay, well, I'll leave it to you guys to figure out how to message them.
So, I'm a little, I know this matters to me, so,
Yeah, that's okay.
like, I want to comment on this, not
Yeah.
right now, we're on agenda item, but.
Probably, if it's clarification of a point and we move on, that's fine, but if it starts to sound like there's discussion back and forth between the board members, or certainly if the board members are reaching a consensus on something, we need to hold off on it and needs to be agendized.
So, I think the point I'm trying to clarify is that I didn't hear illegal activity, so I'm a little confused. The word to me, illegal activity. So it's just that there was a group of players out there, and I think that, I think it surprises us. I think that we're changing the use of that property,
Okay.
and so I think that we have some folks that are rather protective.
Okay.
And so,
It's expectation.
yeah. Okay. Frisbee.
Disc golf.
You disc
Yeah.
golf.
Okay, I still have another one. Gerald brought up the community garden. I need to know if we actually need to do that, so could staff look into whether we are required to have a
I don't know what he
community
decided.
garden. It was a state law, and I
We'll
saw
put
that
on
somewhere,
the
yeah, yeah. And then I would like you to know that the King Park Life article, where I put in there to, we wanted to hear from the district, the board did, and I've gotten the texts and emails, and we had a number show up, so I'm just letting you know that it's a good outreach mechanism. I know, I was really happy. And let's see that one. Oh, last item, two last items. So I was hoping on that survey, everybody walking into the office gets a notice, hey, we have a survey, hey, we should try to do that.
We can follow up. I'm not sure how, I know what you have in distribution plan.
Okay, maybe check it out, come out, seems like an easy one. And then lastly, the status of our park and rec supervisor, have we put that out yet?
Waiting for the board to take action on the salary. Now that you've taken action on
Oh,
the
got
salary.
it, so we did that, okay, great, thank you, that's just all I had, thank everyone for putting up with my very long matters to and from. And moving on to our next item, 18, LAFCO.
Eric, do you want to do your letters? Okay, sorry. No problem.
LAFCO, Holly has left, so what do we do with that? We just move on?
If there's no report, or there's no one here to report on it, then the general manager could fill it, or if that's not working.
There's no report.
Okay. Jill, do you have anything?
From LAFCO, no, I haven't heard anything, and they haven't been meeting, so I'm not sure.
Okay. All right, number 19, committee reports, starting with budget admin. Eric and the chair.
You saw everything that we covered. I do want to mention a couple things. One being, I'm grateful for working on the budget calendar that's moving things back 1 month, that's giving us 2 looks at the budget, that's bringing the first part operating expenses, or operating portion of it to us in May, and then the special funds in June. I'm pleased with the progress that we're making there to give us more time. And with that, thankful to staff for the work that they're putting into those timelines back, because it's a backwards ripple effect. So grateful to them for that. As Director Scobie mentioned, we talked about the need to begin the discussion of a new vision plan. And the General Manager was good to help us recognize the timeline that takes 6, 9 months plus once it's initiated. So I'm glad that we're going to talk about that and look forward to that coming to us as part of our plans for next year. One thing, and I had asked General Manager for this, just so you're aware, with tracking mid-year budget expenses and revenues and such, I had asked for and received historical evidence, historical data on 2017-18, 2018-19 to look at tracking income and revenues from Parks and Rec and Community Center as we did this mid-year adjustment. So I want to thank General Manager for providing that. We're also looking now at information that will help us track it more incrementally. Are we making progress percentage-wise where we're at this year versus previous years, just so that we can make sure we're making progress and not have to wait until the whole budget year is over to see are we where we should be. So, again, thanks for the information to help us make those decisions on. And that's all I have, unless there's anything you want to add, Director Scobie.
Good job. All right, CP&R, I believe that's full, please.
Yeah, I think that's, Ellie, are you ready to see her now? No, I
No.
don't remember, okay.
Susan Holly.
Thank you. I am, yes,
Cindy's chair.
Cindy is the chair, and Mr. Lilpop is the vice chair, and Mr. Lilpop brought up a really good point as a CP&R committee that the members of the board of directors are appointed each January by the president to be on whatever committee they're on, but the members of the public who serve on the committee are not reappointed. So when do they get appointed? What legitimacy do they have? So it was a really good point, and we're going to, I think, address it maybe at the next meeting, and possibly, I think we were agendizing to reappoint the members of the public, just formally have them be on the committee, which is helpful because they are the chair and the vice chair. So it will be helpful. And aside from that, I don't think there were any major kind of CP&R issues. It was a bit of, it wasn't even too much of a training session. We thought, oh, good. Okay. And that was it. But I feel like the committee's generally functioning well, and I think in the past we've brought up the fact that there's a lot of new accessory dwelling units. We want to have that state and staff are looking into that because it means that the CP&R and architectural review committees have probably pretty little say on I don't know what the word to use, but rejecting a plan from accessory dwelling. It's just trying to understand what those boundaries are and what the authority is. Let's
see, fire and emergency services, I'll go ahead and give that report. Ellie unfortunately was sick, but she's serving with me and Eric.
It's my understanding you gave it kind of overall review. Is there anything you have to say?
No, I don't. I mean, we kind of gave a little overall of our stats from last year on what the department did and how busy we were. Between the two stations here in Cameron Park, I don't have the stats right in front of me, but we ran, just within the district here, we ran over 3,400 calls here in the district. I have the stats on how much each engine ran, and then our medics unit, which you know travels all over the county, they ran well over 3,400 calls, just that ambulance here out of Cameron Park. So getting busy, and you know, probably 80-85% of those were medical related calls. But yeah, we kind of gave a little overview of the staff in 2019 and our work plan looking forward throughout the year with the weed abatement program and kind of our next plan. Letters should be going out next month. Inspection starting soon after, and kind of going from there.
May I have a copy of anything that I missed as I was not at the meeting?
Yeah, I need to get that to Nikki and get it published, because I presented a PowerPoint, but yeah, I'll get that to you. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
the ordinance being reworked.
Correct, yeah, we did an ordinance, yeah, that has been done, I think, Sherry submitted that in and for review, and hopefully we'll bring that to next month's committee and then next month's board.
Great, thank you, Jim. Moving on, Parks and Rec, that's, Ellen Felicity, who's chair?
Ellie, I was here, but
Felicity actually successfully nominated you to be chair.
I have no report.
I just want to say I'm really excited to be on the Parks and Recreation Committee, and again, as a parent of elementary school age child, I'm excited to put my input, a little bit of character, I'm excited to prioritize some of the projects, and I know there's a RFP out for landscape architect, so that we can get some things going. Which might usually spend.
And it was really exciting. I actually talked to a gentleman that works for a landscape architect firm. He called us to kind of ask just general questions about the RFP. The resident,
Oh, that's wonderful.
a new resident.
Oh,
We need about
And the Solar Energy Ad Hoc Committee did not meet, and how about the LOAD? Any movement on that?
It did not meet.
Did not meet?
Our next meeting is scheduled for
February.
February.
Okay, moving on to public comment for a closed session item. Seeing none, we will continue into closed session.
I'm sorry, just for the record, can I read what that closed session item is
Oh,
before we go into closed session?
Heading into closed session pursuant to California Government Code 5495.6.9B4. Conference with legal counsel, potential litigation. Wednesday.